This tutorial is for educational use only. It is not authorized nor approved for any other use.
If you're watching this video, I am pretty sure that you know how to deploy an ERC-20 token smart contract to issue your own cryptocurrency, your own ERC-20 token, okay? But do you know how to add value to that token? How to add value to that token so then users, buyers, and holders can trade that token, buy the token, hold the token for long-term investment. In this video, I am going to show you how we add value to an ERC-20 token by deploying a liquidity pool and raise the value of that token up. What we need to do. And this is not just surface talk. We are actually building the liquidity pool in Uniswap, and we are going to enable this token in a decentralized exchange. And as we do it on this channel, I always got surprises. This video is not the exception. Say that token is now tradable and you can buy and exchange that token for a different token. How do you build a trading chart? How can we see the price live in action? We in this channel go all the way to the top. We're not just deploying the liquidity pool. Yeah, we are going to add value to that token, but we're gonna build a trading chart, and we are going to see that beautiful candle going up and down with that token. That's how we do it. DeFi exchange, okay. I know why you are here. You are here because you want to add value to that token. You want that token to be traded in a decentralized exchange. How do I provide collateral to add value to that token? How am I going to build and deploy that liquidity pool so then when someone has an asset that is on that liquidity pool token pair, we can accept the asset and exchange or swap it using our DeFi swap interface? Of course. By the way, if this is your first time on this channel, I suggest you click the subscribe button, because this is not the only surprise that I got on this video. We have a lot. Let's go ahead and build the liquidity pool, okay? We are going to deploy our own custom ERC-20 token. Imagine you have an ERC-20 token. We are deploying our custom ERC-20 token, and we will add the token to a liquidity pool. Same goes with the second token in the pool. And when I say the second token, let me rephrase and let me clarify. When we work with liquidity pools, we're going to have a pair of tokens, okay? And those two tokens that are going to participate in the liquidity pool are the tokens that we are going to allow to exchange, okay? Usually we add a token that will be the utility token or the token that you want to add value to. And the second token that we are going to add is usually in the form of a stable coin or a stable token, okay? Great example, USDC, USDT, BUSD, and others, okay? So what we're going to do in this video, we are going to deploy two token smart contracts. The first one is going to be an ERC-20 token smart contract, will be relabeled to be the utility token. And then the second token smart contract, it's going to have the stable USD name. Just to imagine ourselves, this is the stable coin. Don't worry, because I am going to show you how to work with stable coins and how can we provide the stable aspect of it. It has to do with locked liquidity. So we have to deploy locked liquidity, which means that you cannot touch those funds. This is to back that collateral. That's basically giving you a collateral that's just gonna be locked. And then that will provide value to the other token. That will be a token pegged to a collateral, or in this case, pegged usually to another token, okay? There's another way of doing stablecoins, which is there's a couple of ways, but the most known ones are the collateralized stablecoin, or the token that is pegged to another token. And then there is the algorithm stablecoin, which I'm not gonna mention any names, but we know what happened with one famous algorithm stablecoin, okay? So, but in this video, let's build liquidity, let's add the two tokens, and finally, once we deploy the token, we're going to swap, and we're going to see some price action. We're gonna see our utility token gaining more value because it's now being purchased with a stable asset or a stable coin or stable token, okay? So we're gonna see that, and we're going to buy and sell, and then you're gonna start seeing that token going up and down in value. But that's not all. We need to build a graphical chart or trading chart that we can see that price action movement, okay? This video, let's focus in the liquidity pool. I'm going to explain in a general overview, how does it work? How does it do the math? However, I am telling you right now, just to clarify, I am not by any means explaining the low-level math, and trust me, it's quite intense. The low-level math in the Uniswap V3 liquidity pool. Okay, there's a lot going on. So what I'm going to do the best I can to explain to you how do we give value, why the token goes up and down in value. And from there, I can build another video just to discuss the math behind, which is, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing, okay? All right, so let's go ahead. Let's jump and let's deploy the two ERC-20 tokens. Let's build the liquidity pool, and we're gonna go from there. All right. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing that we are doing, I am going to break down the liquidity pool components. We have a source token. The source token is gonna be the N to the R, or this is the N to the rewards token. This is a utility token that I've been using as an example in my previous videos to work with NFT staking with ERC-20 token tutorials, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to enable liquidity into this token. We're going to inject liquidity so then the token can be tradable. Utility token, okay? And also we are going to add another token in the liquidity pool, the N2D USDS. Let's do some tokenomics. What we are building in the utility token is a supply. Let's deploy the smart contract for the N to the R with 1 million tokens in supply, okay? Let's go ahead and let's add that value. It's going to have 1 million total supply, max supply, meaning that I am going to mint 1 million tokens during the contract deployment, and I will make sure that the maximum token supply is 1 million. So the supply of this token cannot be inflated. We usually think that the token, because it can inflate the supply or we can raise the supply, is a bad thing. Not really, not really. There's cases where you want to have inflationary tokens. There's cases where you don't want to. Like for example, if the token is barely just a store value, then it's going to be deflationary. You don't want to increase the supply of that token because it's going to raise the supply, which is going to lower the price, right? But then there's cases where it's better to have it inflationary. So it's very important for you to understand the end goal with an ICO. What are you trying to accomplish, okay? All right, it's cool. So we got 1 million total supply, okay? And then we are also going to do the same thing. Okay, so we are going to do two contracts exactly the same way. Okay, one contract is going to have 1 million tokens and the other one 1 million tokens. Okay, so we're going to do both. Next thing, so for this scenario, out of 1 million tokens, and this is part of tokenomics, you need to know when you deploy an ERC-20 token for a project, you need to plan the distribution of that token. 50% of the token going towards the liquidity pool. Are you going to have 10% of that token supply for something else? Are you going to airdrop those tokens to a set of investors? you need to know, again, you need to know, and planning an ICO is a very extensive task. It's not just deploy the smart contract and off you go. You need to plan beforehand because remember, smart contracts are immutable. We cannot make any changes to the smart contract once it's done, and especially with ERC-20 tokens, once you mint the supply, that's it, you have to work with that, right? So you don't want to go back and say, oh, we should have done it this way, right? So be careful with that. What I'm going to do, I am going to break the tokenomics in this particular token as follows. Let's draw a circle right here, okay? What we're going to do, we are going to distribute the following. We are going to set 50% will go towards the liquidity pool, okay? So this is 50% liquidity pool, okay? So what I'm going to do, by the way, simple tokenomics in this scenario is going to be as follows, okay? We are going to have 50% designated to the liquidity pool. So 50%, that means that 500,000 tokens are going to be deposited onto the liquidity pool, okay? Then the rest, we have the rest. Let's say I need to stay, the developers in the ICO will obtain 15%, right? And I'm just making something up. Again, like I told you at the beginning, you need to know what are intending to do with this token, right? So we are doing 15% in this, then we are doing, let's say, another 15% for something else, right? 20% here for something else. Yeah, you get the idea, okay? Got it. All right, so we have that. So when we build the liquidity pool, we need to provide 3 very important things. Number 1, we have to provide the current token price. And you might think, well, I need to have the token. I want to start the token price at 1 USDS. So 1 N to the R equals 1 N to the S. However, again, it all depends on the purpose of the token. That's an ICO planning phase, and you need to understand and you need to do the math to realize that if you start at 1 USDS token, then what's going to happen if you have a lot of sellouts or people dumping the token because again they just need to cash out right away. So you need to understand the tokenomics and what's going to happen to the price impact once the token liquidity pool goes live. Okay, let's assign an N to the R starting price is going to be 1 N to the USDS, okay? Or let's just say, N to the USDS. Got it? That's number 1. So how can you set the token price, when you deploy the liquidity pool? And the reason why is because there's no other initialized pool. So then you get to set the initial price. Let's say someone bought a lot of tokens out of that liquidity pool and decides to build its own liquidity pool. You can do that, right? You can actually hold a lot of tokens and build your own liquidity pool and earn fees to the transactions. That's a good passive income idea right there, but not financial advice. Okay, got it. Second item that we are going to build is going to be the minimum price for trading. Okay, and let's talk about that. Minimum price. And the third item that you need to populate onto the liquidity pool is the maximum price. And this, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we talked about in the beginning. This is the price action curve in the swap, okay? Or this is the price curve that I am willing to accept with the token against the collateral. Let's see how can we explain this real quick. We got this, basically it's the graph to explain the curve. Okay, so let's talk about this real quick. The reason why Uniswap v3 it's actually making you set a predefined minimum price and maximum price is that with that approach, you are more efficient with the liquidity that you have. Because let's say the token never never goes beyond certain price point, then you have all that collateral. By the way, the liquidity that we provide is to be able to offer the exchange to the end user. That's why the calculation is done. It's done because we need to make sure that that token association to the N2 USDS can provide the liquidity so that we can do the transaction. Because if the token runs out of liquidity, I cannot trade the token. So it's worthless, right? So we are doing what basically Uniswap v3 is going to do. It's going to make sure that you maximize the potential on your liquidity pool. How much money you put in collateral, how much asset as the collateral you put to back up the liquidity pool, we're going to be able to maximize that. Because if we don't have a minimum price and a maximum price, and the token always fluctuates, 1 to 2 USDS tokens, then the price action is not that much. So we want to make sure that we set a hard cap in the trading price, okay? So with that said, that is what we call the curve, right? So we got, some sort of a price action right here, and then we have, the high number, and then we got the low number right here, or the low price and the high price. So basically what happens is the wider your range, the less efficient, I'm not going to say efficient, the less usable is your collateral. Because if your token, let's say if we're dealing with two stable coins. Let's talk about stable coins. We got one stable coin that is trading between 1 and 0.99. 1 and 0.99. You see that price fluctuation, why I need to put extra collateral if I know that I just need to make sure that I associate a one-to-one peg. And I know that if the price, someone buys the token cheap and then someone buys the token a little bit higher value, the math is still going to be there to provide the collateral to the buys and sells executed in the liquidity pool. So you need to make sure that you provide enough collateral. So what we do in this charting, right, we then tell what's the lowest curve and what's the highest curve. And I'm not saying that this is to avoid the token from losing its value. Absolutely not, because that token can be traded somewhere else, and that token can be used for something else. And if everyone sells the token, guess what's going to happen? It's just going to drop in value. It's like it's going to be, the value is going to be dirt cheap because there's all the supply is available for sale. The token, it's not valuable. Okay, so you still have that risk. But again, this is to maximize the use in Uniswap as far as the price action, right? So we got one price action, another price action, another price action, and then I should be able to provide the collateral if we have that movement in the curve. So the way that DeFi will work is that you will have a up and down in price action. So every time that there's a price action, I need to make sure that I balance my liquidity pool so I always have collateral, okay? Let's say someone bought more than X amount of tokens, and we don't have that collateral, we're basically going to say, well, we don't have that much collateral to provide you the liquidity, okay? And you're gonna see that, all right? So we are going to set a minimum price and we're gonna set the maximum price, okay? So we are going to say that the minimum price that this token can be exchanged in the liquidity pool is 1.01 USDS, okay? And the maximum price, let's say the token can go all the way to 30 USDS, okay? So we will have a minimum price and to USDS and to USDS. That will be the stable coin, okay? So that will be the maximum price in the liquidity pool and the minimum price, okay? Now, once we're done with that, we have one last step, and I think this is very important. It's the transaction fee that we are going to charge every time that someone does a swap. We can set this as a percentage fee, okay? And Uniswap recommends to use a 3%, That's recommended for most pairs. You're going to see that once we configure the pool, okay? So let's go ahead. I just broke down a very high level way of calculating the liquidity pool, okay? So let's say we are going to inject $500,000 into the liquidity pool, then we will see, based on the values that I'm going to provide onto the liquidity pool, how much collateral do I have to provide in order for me to satisfy this entire liquidity, okay? So let's go ahead. Let's jump into Uniswap and let's build the liquidity pool. But first, we got to deploy the smart contracts, of course. Let's go ahead and deploy the smart contracts. Cool. So I have the ERC-20 Token Smart Contract. I will be providing this a full tutorial video file so you can test everything yourself. What we're going to do now, I am going to deploy the smart contract. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. The first smart contract that I will be deploying will be the N2D Rewards Token Smart Contract. So I'm going to zoom a little bit more. Perfect. All right, so we got the N2D Rewards Token Smart Contract. Okay. So we are going to set the symbol into the R, into the rewards, and then we will mint the maximum supply of 1 million, which will be sent to the owner's wallet. And this is the wallet that was used to deploy the smart contract. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I got that. I'm going to compile. Awesome. All right, so let me go ahead and expand this a little bit more. Perfect. Now what we need to do, I am going to deploy this smart contract, and first of all, I got to set myself, and let's work with the Polygon Mumbai testnet. We're going to deploy this in the Polygon Mumbai testnet. However, this is an EVM smart contract. You can use Ethereum, you can use Binance Smart Chain to do the same thing. Obviously, with Uniswap v3, there's certain blockchains supported, okay? So I am going to deploy this in the Mumbai testnet, and you are going to see that the Uniswap application will switch to the testnet, okay? So let me go ahead and add the provider, inject it. Perfect, I got some Matic that we can use to deploy the smart contract. This has been compiled. Let's go ahead and deploy it, okay? And we should get the prompt. We are getting the prompt. I'm just going to move it from my way. Perfect. I'm going to confirm. We'll wait for the confirmation. Once we get the confirmation that the contract has been deployed, we will grab the contract address and save it in text file. Okay. So I am going to copy the smart contract address. Now I'm going to copy the first smart contract. This will be into the R smart contract. And I believe the 1 million tokens got deposited or got transferred into my deploy wallet. So how do we know that? We just copy the smart contract address and we are going to add a token. So let's import the token for the smart contract address. Okay, and we can see that the MetaMask wallet found out that I have 1 million tokens. Okay, awesome. Perfect. Now let's deploy the N2 USDS. This is a stable coin. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to relabel the contract to be the N2 USDS stable, right? And then we're going to say N2 USDS. Okay. Got it. Now let me go ahead and compile. Contract compiled. Now let's go ahead and deploy it. There you go. We got the contract confirmation to deploy. We're going to deploy it. Let's wait for that confirmation. Let's grab the contract address. We got the confirmation. Let me go ahead and copy the smart contract address. Let's go back to our text editor and I'm going to save the N2 USDS address. So now we got the two smart contracts. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that I got the 1 million N2 USDS tokens in my MetaMask wallet. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go up here and let's add that that token onto my wallet. Okay, so we got here and perfect. Add custom token, import the token, and off we go. Awesome. So we got both smart contracts deployed. Let's go now into Uniswap. So we go ahead and launch the app. So you're going to launch the app once you get to Uniswap. And then you can see right here that I am actually in the Polygon Mumbai testnet in I'm interacting with the testnet. Okay, so now anything that I do in Uniswap is just attached to the Polygon Mumbai testnet. Okay, so let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do, I am going to hover over pools. So we're going to click pools, and this is where we set up that liquidity. Okay, so let's go ahead and set up the liquidity. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click the new position. We are going to add a new position onto the pool. We'll build this initial pool. Awesome. First things first, what's the first token? We need to add that into the ERC token address, okay? Because this will not be populated. And you can see there's other tokens here that I was testing, but this is not the one that we want. So I am going to grab the address. So let's import first the into the ERC token, okay? And I'm going to paste, and sure enough, I can see the end to the R's with the total supply of 1 million. The token isn't verified because it's custom token, okay? And now I need to add the second token in the pair. We are going to now add the stable token. Let's go ahead and do that. And there you go, N2 USD stable. Okay, awesome. So we got the N2 USDS stable token. Cool deal. Now, we are going to set the transaction fee to 3%. We will get that as the transaction commission. Every time that you guys swap, you're going to be charged on the amount of N2 USDs that you are intending to swap, or vice versa. If you're intending to swap from N to the R to N to USDS, then I'm going to charge the 3%. Okay? Awesome. Now, the starting price. Remember, we are going to set the starting price. The starting price will be 1. We said that we want to start with 1. So that means that the price, and you can see it right here, the price for an N to the R token is 1 N to USDS. Okay? Let's set the price range. Price range will be what? The minimum price. Remember what was the minimum price? 0.001. Okay, so we are going to start with 0.01, and the max price we said that we want to put 30. Okay, and now let's see if we are lucky. And it's already telling me, check this out. This is what I actually want this to happen, because I need to show you why it's important to find the best price range so then we fully utilize the collateral, okay? So right now you can see that we start with 0.01 and it just went back to 0.009, okay? But then we are lacking, in order for us to do the full peg, we are lacking over 100,000 tokens. But remember something, we were meant to only deposit 500,000, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to type 500,000 because I still need to have some tokens so I can buy and sell the token, right? If I deposit everything, then how am I going to be able to trade, okay? Now you can see that I'm able to provide the liquidity against the 500,000 into the Rs. So I am depositing to 550,000 into USDS. So this is a stable coin, okay? And now we will have the range to provide enough liquidity to serve this price range. We have 0.01 as the minimum price that the token will be swapped, and the maximum price of 30. So now we can have that swing between the two, and we should be good to provide the liquidity, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. The first thing, next what I have to do, I have to approve the N to the R, and this approval is for Uniswap to be able to transfer the tokens from your wallet onto the pool. Okay, let's go ahead and approve. By the way, it's behind my camera, that's fine. Okay, I just hit the approval in the MetaMask. Let's wait for the approval. I believe we got the approval already. Let's make sure that's the case. I'm gonna go right up here. And yeah, it's already approved. Now let's approve the N2 USDS. There we go. We're going to confirm. Boom. Now we are confirming the second token in the pair to be transferred to Uniswap. Awesome, it got approved. Now Let's go ahead and preview the pool. Now, finally, we are going to deploy the liquidity pool. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna confirm, and I believe that should be it. And sure enough, we got it. We got our first liquidity pool. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. There we go. Okay, perfect. All right. So what we are looking at this right now, we are seeing the following. Actually, what's kind of interesting is we set 30 maximum price for that token, but then based on the amount in liquidity, we got a minimum price of 0.03 and max of 100, okay? So right now, the current price is what we want for that token. It's 1 USDS, okay? So if I buy one N2DR token right now using my N2 USDS, I am going to increase the value of that N2DS because N2DR, because now I'm depositing more onto, I am obtaining more tokens against my collateral. So I am expecting to have less liquidity from the N2DR side, which will raise the price versus the other one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I am going to now swap it. Now what we need to do, we are going to set the source token, right? And we are using the Uniswap, but we will use our DeFi swap interface. So don't worry, all right? So we are going to use the Uniswap swap interface. Okay, so let's set our source token, and the destination token will be the N2D rewards, okay? And you can see here, we still have a balance of 500,000 on my wallet, okay? Which, again, okay. Now what I'm gonna do, I am going to buy, let's buy 2,000. And the moment I set the 2,000, I want to exchange 2,000 N2 USDS against the N2DR, right? We're gonna set for 2,000. Now you are going to see that the N2DR price is starting to increase, okay? Check this out. If I decide to swap 20,000, what's gonna happen? There you go. Now we know that the price of that N2DR token is gonna keep increasing, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna buy 20,000 N2DR tokens. I'm going to swap my 20,000 N2 USDS against the N2DR. So now I should receive in exchange 19,310. So that tells you that the price of the N2DR is higher. Okay, cool. So let's do that. I'm gonna swap. Cool deal. All right. So now we can see that we are executing this transaction, and hopefully we see some price action here. Boom. And sure enough, now I have less N2 USDs and I have the 19,300. What's the price of an N2DR now? 0.93. Okay, now let's flip the role. Let me try and see how much will I get back from on a stable if I swap my N2DR. Let's type. Now I just click this so I can swap the pairs. So now I'm going to exchange one N2DR. What's the price? 106. So it's increasing. Okay. Let me go ahead. I'm going to act as a whale right now. We are going to swap 100,000 N2 USDS. Okay. This will give me 80,000. So I lose 20,000. So that tells me that after this swap is done, the price of the N2DR is 1.23. Okay, so let's go ahead and swap it. Confirm. Here we go. So now we can see that if we build that chart, which we will build the chart, you are going to see that token value going up. But then we will sell everything at once and we'll see the red line just going back down. Okay. Now we have 600,000 N2DRs. So let me go ahead now. What I'm going to do, I want to see what's the price of an N2DR. 1.42. So now it's already 50% increase. So it has increased 50% in value because I bought 100,000 out of the 500 in the liquidity pool. So that definitely will make a price impact. We're definitely going to see a price impact here. Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's not make this longer. On the next video, let's build the chart. Let's do it. I know what you're doing. You're deploying your custom ERC-20 token and you're building another token to do that liquidity pool yourself. And we saw how can we do that with Uniswap v3. Okay? And that's awesome. You need to practice. Now watch and play with those ranges from minimum to maximum along with the transaction fee. Once you understand how to work with those items, you're on the right path. Just to clarify, I want to make sure that this tutorial is for educational purposes only. By no means this should be deployed in production. By no means this is an ICO strategy that you are going to follow. Okay? So make sure that you understand before moving forward. I hope that you learn as much as you can with this video. Awesome to have you. You're gonna learn more about DeFi. Alright, so that's it for this video. On the next video, I am going to show you how to build an ERC-20 token graph or trading chart. And you're gonna see the price action going up and down as we buy and sell the token. I know you want to see that. Alrighty, so that's it for this video. If you like my content, you know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't subscribed too. Hey, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.